copying a 0 on field probably isn't the most optimal round, I guess. And the fact that I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 80 scores is not the best either. So in the end, it was quite a dismal round of AFL fantasy in which I had a round rank of 21,154 after scoring a 22-24, and I slipped about 1,000 ranks backwards just because, I just had a really poor round with only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 tons in total. So let's jump into this video. But before we do, remember to like and subscribe and turn the notification bell on so you know when I upload, especially with AFLW fantasy coming up in the near future. I believe we're about 2 months away from the start of that season, so I can't wait to jump in on that as well. But anyway, let's jump into this video here. So as you can see, all the stats below, all the key stats, as I just said in the intro. Dane Zorko 127, he looks back to his best, and at least I can thank him that he's actually scoring at a primo pace. So he's looking really good. Jack Sinclair 119, he scored really well as well. He's back to his best as well, so that's pretty good. 29 touches, 5 marks, 5 tackles, and a goal for a 119 again in a loss is really, really good. Then we get Matty Roberts 94. He looked really good at halftime. I believe he was on 70 and then just did nothing in the second half. And there's now, going down in price. A 104 break even. Has Adelaide this week. He was definitely better with his ball use, but still at the same time, it was like still not really the best. But definitely better than some others. But would like to see him kick it up a gear because, again, just sort of scoring 90s. He's burning 10 points a week, but he's not the worst problem we have. Trent Rivers was on 60 at halftime or something, I swear. Or was that last week? It might have been last week. I don't know what exactly he was on, but I swear he's just scored 80s, and more 80s for me. I think that's his 4th 80 score in a row for me since I brought him in. And so, hasn't really worked out bringing him in over like other guys. Let's just look quickly at Trent Rivers. In the first quarter, he scored a 28. Second quarter, he scored a 13. Third quarter, 26, and then a 16. So he scored in the first and third quarters 54 points, and then in the other 2 quarters, he has scored 29 or something. Was that right? Or was it 54 and 29? Sorry. So just not the greatest quarters from him there in that, but he still ended up 17 touches, 9 tackles, had a midfield role, so maybe he could get something out of it, but then again, just doesn't look good and could potentially be an upgrade this week to other round 15 and 16 guys as we look to really just sort of transition this side and get it into all primos because he is definitely not a primo. Zach Reid was basically subbed out at 3/4 time or so, or basically given his not returning orders at 3/4 time after doing his hamstring tightness, which turns out to be a hamstring strain of 3 to 4 weeks in the third quarter against the Tigers after he was tracking really, really well. And then Harry Sheezel, an 81 from him, and he sits on the bye now. It will be interesting to see what I do there. Could potentially move him on because, he is struggling. But at the same time, in the last 5 weeks, he's also scoring decent enough in fantasy with a 103. So it's just this weird conundrum that he's scoring all right, but he just looks horrific 1 week and then really good the next. So it's this really weird conundrum, I would say. And then Matt Carroll, 37 on the bench, and James Leake did not play. Nick Dacos looked really good in the second half. I think he had 17 touches in the last quarter out of his 38. He had something like a 50-something point last quarter, I want to say. Let me just double check that for you guys because he was electric in the last quarter. But, so he had 129 for the game, and he had 17 touches, 3 marks, 1 tackle for a 59-point fourth quarter and a 32-point third quarter. So he had 91 points in the second half there, after only scoring 38 in the first. So just a really, really good comeback, I would say, comeback from that after, just a really poor second quarter. He only scored 11 in the second. Outside of that, he was fantastic. If he puts on, say, 20 in the second instead of 11, that turns into like a almost 140 type of score. Zach Merritt, I brought him in, and I almost had Nick Martin in the trade plans. Like, that straight up, I'm just going to say that. He was thereabouts, alongside Green and alongside Merritt. I feel like I got the lesser of two evils, basically, because if you look at, let's just put up Green here. If you pull up Green and his stats, he scored an 85. So I got 64 points on that. And I got my best score of the week captained, right? So I did really well there. But I could have had an extra 17, could have had an extra 34 points if I'd gone Martin. Would I have VC'd Martin? Probably not. Would have probably gone against Gawn, actually, in the end. I would have probably almost gone with the Cherry against Collingwood, which would have been even worse. But yeah, so you can just see that it almost worked out in a way that I got that score there. So pretty happy about that. Connor Rozier, 105. He's been ultra consistent, I would say, and is 6th rank for the year. So he will be going into the back line and probably allows me to get Rivers, Reid, and someone else up. Jai Newcomb as well. He has been poor, but he should hopefully return back to some form. He had a 1-2-3 last week and then an 80. So he's sort of been bobbing up and down each way and around. So he's averaged, I think, like 88 for my side, which is just really poor. But I thought he'd come into a really good run and just failed. Caleb Sarong, he just cannot seem to score well. Highest score of the year is a 121, and then that's a 108, a 101, a 100, and then a 97. Last year, if you look at his stats, you would see that his highest score was, I think, a 160, then a 150, then a 140. And then his lowest score, I think, was like an 81 or something, which you can see a 65, but then clumps of 80 scores, whereas his low sort of bottom 5 scores were, I think, an 80, a 9, and then some 90 scores. It was really high floor, whereas he's got a really low ceiling at the moment and is averaging 91, will be an obvious guy next year. Levi, 89, probably not going to go at this point just because he's going to beat up on that Essendon side, who are just so injured. They have no key defenders. Xavier Lindsay did really well again. He's just making some cash, and that is really good because we need it. And then Angus Sheldrick, with Mills most likely copping a suspension tonight for that late bump on Spargo. I expect it. Then I'm expecting Angus Sheldrick now for the rest of the year. Sydney's season is over. There's no way that they're coming back from 4-7, is it? Or 4-8? They are currently 4-7. So that means that if they are to make finals, they need to lose 3 or less games. They are not losing 3 games or less to Adelaide, Western Bulldogs, Port Adelaide, who they've beaten once in the last about 10 years. Fremantle, who are up and down. St Kilda, they'll probably beat GWS, and also the likes of Essendon are still probably tough for them. And then you've got the Brisbane Lions and the Geelong Cats. So if you think about it, they've got to beat 3 of the probably close to top 4 sides in Brisbane, Geelong, and also Western Bulldogs, alongside Port Adelaide, who they like never beat, and Adelaide, who are doing really, really well. They're just not going to do that. And so I could easily see them basically shut down the year, and that would mean that Angus Sheldrick and guys like Cleary would hopefully get runs in the midfield and help out the side a little bit and score all right. Camperelli, DMP, Hugh Boxall played and got some cashed in, I think, but yeah, 27k, so at least he got something, but would like to see him get a fair run at it. Max Gawn is somehow still going up in cash, I think. Went up 19k against Sydney. Again, just put up another stock standard performance. Has St Kilda, Romar, and this is why I said don't go Romar, because he's going to have a really poor couple of games, and that's basically what he's going to have, and what he did do on the weekend. Tristan Cherry had a bad game, and is going to go down in cash once he hits the outside of the bye. He does have the Eagles though, so he's probably actually going to resurrect that and score like a 160 against them. And then has Fremantle, which is Luke Jackson in the ruck against him. So yeah, he should do all right. And then has Tom De Koning, who he scored 116 on last time. So yeah, Bailey Smith, a 126 most people took, and he has the Eagles this week. So if he does end up playing, although I have a fear that he's going to be late out just with all the talk around his shin, then I would be VC or seeing him. Is it it's a Sunday game, so you could probably see him, but there's too much angst around him actually playing. Petrarca, 104, did pretty well against Sydney, kicked 1 goal too, had 28 touches. Isaac Rankin as well, 89. He's been really poor since I grabbed him. You can pretty much tell when I grabbed him. 77, 89, 89. Go figure. Caleb Daniel, 94, back to somewhat semblance of something, but again, heads into the bye now. And then Cooper Simpson, a 0, went up 8k, has a 31 break even, and has just gone in for surgery for an AC joint, 8 to 10 weeks out. And then Jack McRae tried to hold him as well. And now I need somehow to grab another forward somewhere. And then Tom Gross 5 is just really poor. And you can see now that I'm probably going to have to trade out a Stone or something like that, a Stone or a Carroll or something, just to be able to make moves. But yeah, if I was to make just a quick little thought process of what I'm going to do, it would probably be Zach Reid. Can I do someone like a... can I do like this here? Do I have another forward that I can at least sort of grab in? Let's just see. I can do that, I guess, and then just play like a Levi there. So that would give me 1.24 million. If I then looked at potentially... Oh, I have to actually... So if I go here and I go midfielders, if I go to defenders here and I go to break even, it's Angus Clark. That's the obvious one. And then I'd have 949k. If I actually did, instead of Zach Reid first, I did like a Trent Rivers instead. And then I have a money for a big defender, I think. I can actually move Connor Rosie back into the defender line, and it somehow stuffed it up. I don't think I need it. So anyway, let's just do this first of all. So we have the likes of Rivers and Stone out, and we go to Clark, not a forward. We want the defender, Clark. And then I'd have 1.055 million to then grab up. I don't want that scenario there. I want to move the likes of Levi into the forward line. And then I've got 1.055 million for a midfielder. If we go to players I can afford here and go to last game, you've got Long, Rowell, Oliver, Steele, Pickett, Berry, Langdon. They all scored all right. Who do the likes of West Coast have? Let's just see, who do West Coast have? They have got the likes of Geelong. You could go Holmes, actually. Holmes could be an interesting pick at 916k. Could be an interesting pick there. What buy does he have? He's got round 16. And then if I go there and then I upgrade potentially like a... Zach Reid's not going to actually be able to get up to anyone significant, I don't think. But let's just see if there's a scenario which I can do it. If I then go Zach Reid, I'd have 888k, and I go all prices to all positions, and I go players I can afford. You basically have not many that I can actually afford in truth. You could go Jackson, and when he's solo ruck, he does really well. Like you can see, he's gone something. If you look at his solo ruck scores, you'll see that he averages somewhere around that 100 marker. But there is that sort of, he could not play solo ruck. There's also the temptation, I guess, to get rid of, instead of the likes of a Rivers, to get rid of the likes of a Sheasel or someone like that, and move on someone there. Or potentially, if we just go to elsewhere, if we just go, what did Rouse score? Rouse scored a 130, so he looks back almost to his best, and he's got Fremantle. You could go there, and then that would, if you look at his fixture, he's got round 14 bye. So that actually could be an option there, and just do something crazy like that. If we just do this here and move even just Holmes back and do that there. So you could do something like that there, and then that would be sort of the way I roll. I'd have 1-2 guys off. I'd probably play... Thing is, yeah, you can just see that this side is just absolutely hamstrung in terms of players, that I've got only one or a couple guys up. So I might even have to just hold the likes of a, if I just go Zach Reid out, say I just do something like this, Zach Reid to a Clark is probably the obvious one. So do that there, leaving me 500k. And then I grab up, say I get rid of a Stone or something. And then I also get rid of like a, who else can even just go? Let's just look here, maybe a Camporelli or something like that, and just see if I can get some, if there's another rookie in there, maybe like an Ed Allen, and that would leave me 842k. Can I actually get rid of someone else potentially or something? Could even go to like a Ed Allen and like a Kane McAuliffe or something. That could be a way to go. or maybe even like a Will Hayes potentially, and just run the sort of rookies and just hope that they don't get some subs. We'll see how that goes. Maybe even like a Xavier O'Halloran or something until the likes of a Finn Callahan comes back, could potentially be an option. Yeah, just it's probably gonna not it's probably not gonna work, but just got to think of a way around it just to get sort of numbers actually playing, I would say, because I'm currently got, what's that, 1 2 3 4 5 6. I would have still the I'd be down to 21, and then 2019 I'd have only one player that I could actually not have his score count at the moment, just looking quietly off this. So yeah, it's not looking the best, but we'll try and make a decent enough situation out of it, I guess, in the next couple of days. But that is the video there. If you did enjoy it, remember to like and subscribe, and I will see you guys for the Supercoach team review in a little bit as well. Bye guys.